The story starts with a video clip of a panda climbing a tree. Look at its arrogant pace. It's really like it has practiced kung fu. We are not sure whether it's because its lightness skill is not yet mastered, or it's because the tree branch is too thin and the pandas too heavy. The sapling even bends when it's climbing, but the panda doesn't care. It still wants to climb up and be a lone seeker. It keeps climbing. The branch can't even bear the weight. What shall it do now? Thinks for a second and chooses to climb higher. The branch still fails to bear the weight. Then the branch breaks with a snap. The panda also falls down, but it rolls over immediately and gets up with its plump body, even glancing at the camera. Falling from somewhere as high as that, how could it be safe and sound? This is another video clip of two wild giant pandas. One is hanging upside down and looking at the camera, as if showing off. But suddenly the small branch breaks, and the panda falls vertically. The cameraman even screams. Seems that it falls from a height of 7 or 8 meters. The panda lands on its back, flips over, and keeps looking at the camera. Are pandas really not afraid of falling? We all know cats have 9 lives, but it is a panda. Cats don't die after falling, because they twist in the air and buffer with all 4 limbs. With plump body, the panda always lands on its back. Doesn't it hurt? Turns out, this is also related to the secret device on the panda's body. Don't underestimate the panda. It is a genuine, ancient, mythical beast. It already existed at the time when the classic of Mountains and Seas was released. The mysteries of its body are beyond your imagination. Why aren't pandas afraid of falling? Why can they climb trees? Why can they win people's heart through their adorable charm? Today, let's talk about this. Why aren't pandas afraid of falling? Before answering this question, let's ask an even interesting question. Why are pandas black and white? Is it true that they can only get a color photo when sticking out their tongues? Actually, the black and white panda is an unsolved mystery in biology. Because we know, the fur of 99.999% of animals is for camouflage. Chameleons are the epitome of adopting camouflage skills. So are cheetahs, lions, and tigers. Even top predators like these need camouflage to approach their prey. Octopuses and some insects can even directly mimic the environment. And pandas just use black and white as camouflage. How can this make sense? To reasonably explain this logic, experts believe that it uses fur to camouflage itself behind trees or on white snow like this. This is a serious speculation of scientists, because the panda's habitat ranges from low-altitude forests to high-altitude snowy mountains, but it still has a black and white head. So, how are you going to hide its big face, ears like those of Mickey Mouse, and those exaggerated eyes? So scientists proposed a second speculation, reverse camouflage. Think about this. Apart from pandas, who else is also black and white? The killer whale, the top killer in the sea, as its name suggests. Right? This guy's quite famous. Why did it evolve itself into black and white one? In fact, this is just like why gang leaders like to have exaggerated tattoos on their arms and wear big gold chains. This is a warning, telling you, I'm fierce, don't mess with me. It is easy to understand when being put in the human context, right? Who says camouflage means being humble and hiding carefully? You can also swagger and intimidate others. But the problem arises again. We all know killer whales is social animals. Of course, some people say pandas eat bamboo and don't need to hunt, so having a big tattoo to scare off tigers and snow leopards is also quite good, right? But there is also a saying, being at wit's end. If you always use tattoos to scare off the local villain, they will be afraid of you the first time and awed by you the second time. But the third time, if you can't call in a large amount of followers, then they will definitely eat you like a tiger eating an exhausted donkey. So for pandas, there are only two possibilities. First, pandas are social animals. Second, reverse camouflage does not apply to pandas. However, based on currently known fossil evidence and behavioral observations, pandas are never social animals. So experts proposed a third hypothesis. This hypothesis can finally explain why pandas won't die after falling. Don't worry, the speculation behind this is related to another white bear, the polar bear. The white color of polar bears is for camouflage in the ice and snow. But in fact, inside the white fur of the polar bear, there is another ancient magical hidden skills. We know polar bears often go swimming in the winter, aren't they cold? They can really resist cold. This is all because of a special structure in their white fur called the medulla layer. This layer consists of countless tiny air sacs. Its insulation effect is better than that of a vacuum flask. But scientists recently found that the medulla layer has advantages as well as disadvantages, which is that it cannot guarantee the effective attachment of pigments. So polar bears have that expensive-looking and rare pure white skin. So can we use this idea to explain the black and white fur of pandas? After study, scientists really discovered there are many spongy medulla layers on the fur of pandas. And this spongy medulla layer of pandas is different from that of polar bears. The sacs are bigger and fluffier. The insulation effect may be slightly worse. But like an airbag, it's big, fluffy, and shockproof. So why can't pandas land on all four limbs like a cat? Because the back is white and the limbs are black. So only the back has enough spongy medulla layer to withstand damage. The belly can of course withstand it too, but there are fewer bones and it is close to the internal organs. So it's easy to suffer internal injuries. It is said that if you've ever held a real baby panda, you'll immediately understand how fluffy and fleshy they are. They are just like cushions. A long time ago, probably the prehistoric times of nearly 1 million years ago, scientists say pandas were widely distributed. They were fierce beasts competing with stegodons and saber-toothed tigers. What did they rely on? It's their ferocious black and white tattoos. Like killer whales, they deliberately keep their eyes wide open. They could not only scare various beasts, but also rise to challenges and intimidating you with black and white fur. For example, when you're angry and ready to fight, your first instinctive reaction is to keep their eyes wide open, right? But how do these eyes of pandas and killer whales become a symbol of cuteness in human eyes? Humans find pandas cute entirely because our view of beauty is different in genes. Like salamanders, we ourselves have a long-lasting neoteny. Then we were domesticated by neotenous gene and developed neoteny aesthetics. Little did we know that this neoteny aesthetic is actually the deep fear of nature. Theoretically, if you wear a Lolita outfit, put on big eye contact lenses, maybe you could scare lions away on the African savanna. But you are considered as a cutie with big eyes in our human comic conventions. It's really unintentional but successful. Pandas may feel confused, thinking it is born fierce, but humans insist on treating it like the cutest of all creatures. For example, Japan, the country with the best ACG culture, rents the most pandas in the world. The panda dragging a water bucket with its bare hands is called ru-yi. It is adapted to local customs. Living in the Moscow Zoo, it has become a kung fu panda. In addition, as the Mid-Autumn Festival approached in 2019, a Finnish zoo invited a choir to perform. And then they sang a Chinese song to the pandas. They sang, "When will the bright moon appear?" In the Netherlands, not only did they transport the pandas on a special plane and with a police escort, but they also built a luxurious panda pavilion in the Dutch zoo. The pavilion was built entirely of solid wood, imitating a Chinese palace. It covers an area of 9,000 square meters, costing 7 million euros. Indians also love pandas. But India is too hot, pandas might not be able to stand the high temperature. So the Indian people came up with a clever solution. They painted elephants into black and white. It really had an unexpected effect. Elephant isn't the only animal that was painted into black and white. A crocodile was also dyed in panda colors. This is really ridiculous. Here's a schedule of a panda's daily routine. Did you notice? Pandas eat for 13 hours a day, sleep for 10 hours, and play for 1 hour. This is because pandas eat bamboo, but they don't have the ability to digest bamboo well. So pandas can only keep eating and eating daily, consuming pounds of bamboo, which is about 20% of their body weight. They even eat while defecating due to time limits. If we want to make paper from bamboo, there's a crucial step, which is to remove fructose from the bamboo and extract bamboo fibers. When pandas eat bamboo, their digestive tract is like a fructose juicer, perfectly removing the fructose. Although not 100%, about 70% to 80% of its excrement contains no fructose. So can we make paper from panda poop? That's the source of panda paper. It's quite expensive. It's said that when being used to wipe mouth, you can faintly smell the fragrance of panda tea. In 1981, a 7-year-old wild giant panda Lily just arrived at the Wolong Conservation Center in Sichuan. One day at dinner, staff surprisingly found that it had eaten the sugar porcelain bowl holding its food and was swallowing pieces into its stomach. When the keeper discovered it, he was at a loss. Because not long ago there was an incident where a keeper had been seriously injured when trying to take a wild giant panda's food. Seeing Lily eating the iron bowl, no one dared to stop her. Experts also rushed to the scene, but the experts signaled everyone to stay calm. Sure enough, a few days later, everyone found pieces of iron in Lily's excrement, and finally everyone felt relieved. So is this story true or false? Can pandas really eat iron? Now, no one has seen the power of wild giant pandas. They are now in breeding centers, probably looking like this. At that time, the experts asked everyone to stay calm, and there is evidence to follow, because in ancient China, pandas were called iron-eating beasts. Why do pandas eat iron? This has to do with their fourth mystery. Scientists have found that pandas, at some point, suddenly messed up their taste genes. Originally, they were omnivorous animals like black bears and brown bears, eating meat, fruit, honey, and so on. But after the taste gene was messed up, meat tasted as bad as wax. Instead, bamboo became extremely delicious. So, pandas started eating bamboo day and night. However, eating bamboo was problematic. Simply eating bamboo would lead to a lack of calcium, iron, zinc, selenium, and vitamins. Therefore, out of necessity, wild giant pandas occasionally ate some meat. But eating meat is still not enough, so wild giant pandas would gnaw rocks and iron sheets. Later, experts found pandas gnaw rocks to supplement calcium and gnaw iron sheets to supplement iron. Especially when pandas are pregnant, they need large amounts of calcium and iron. Those are the mysteries and stories about pandas that we know. Hello, and see you again in the next videos.